Are you brainwashed? No, this is a serious video. I'm not joking. Okay, now I just lost half my audience. All right. When you turn on the TV news, do you ever question it? How much of it do you believe? Like the day after 9/11, we saw a video of jubilant Arabs dancing in the streets. And they were saying they were celebrating the fall of the Trade Center. And everyone looked and said, hey, go get them, it's horrible. That video was 6 months old. It was made someplace else. It was an unrelated wedding celebration or some damn thing. But the American people saw it, and they said that it was Arabs celebrating the fall of the Trade Center, and the American people believed it. You notice that everybody that our government goes up against, like every country that our government wants to invade, the leader is a madman, a brutal dictator, a butcher, like Saddam Hussein, Ahmadinejad, and Muammar Gaddafi. What's up with Gaddafi, anyway? It used to be spelled Gaddafi with a K. Then they changed it to a Q. Now they have us saying Gaddafi. What are they, just playing with us just to make us jump through hoops? Did you know that Osama bin Laden was a war hero during the close of the 1970s and the opening years of the 1980s? He was a war hero. He was a freedom fighter. He was praised by Ronald Reagan, who made an official Afghanistan Day. He was the leader of the Mujahideen, the Holy Warriors, kicking the Soviet Union out of Afghanistan. Does anybody remember that? Does anybody know that? Then he went from being this brave, humble, courageous man, this natural-born leader, to being a craven coward, hiding behind women. Oh, and they also had Osama bin Wankin. Yeah, they said that they found him with a bunch of pornography. On the front page of the New York Post, there was a photograph many years ago, and it said Wacky Gaddafi. It was a cut-and-paste job of Muammar Gaddafi wearing a dress. They admitted later on that it was just a cut-and-paste job, but the image had already been planted in the American people's minds. Wacky Gaddafi. Gaddafi is wacky. Wacky Gaddafi. If we laugh at somebody, if we're laughing at somebody, then it's okay to go over there and, shoot them for the head or whatever. But then again, how do we even know that Osama bin Laden was still alive? Back in 2001, he was in a hospital in Saudi Arabia undergoing kidney dialysis. That means final stages of renal failure. At least that's what they told us. Oh, how do you know it's true? Because they tell us. Okay, how do you know that Hitler was such a bad guy? How do you know that the Holocaust really happened? What are you, crazy? No, I'm asking you a question. How do you know that any of this is true? Because they tell us. Who tells you? The bankers who own and control our federal government. The private bankers who own and control the Federal Reserve. Bought up all the media. They control what you see on TV, what you hear on the radio, what you read in the newspapers. Even these guys who pretend to be political mavericks, I'm not going to mention any names, they don't step over the bounds either. They're bought and paid for. They're shills, every one of them. That's why I never trust anybody who has an audience of millions on a radio show or a TV program, because they're already bought and paid for. The bankers who own and control all the information would not allow you to see something that they don't want you to see, like what's really going on outside of our own country. Okay, Saddam Hussein. Did you know that under Saddam Hussein, the literacy rate for men rose to 55%. The literacy rate for women rose to 45%. Women had freedom. They were not required to wear those burqas or whatever the ninja freaking hoods that they wear now. It was a secular state. Women were allowed to get an education, to go to college, to enter the professions, to enter politics. under Saddam Hussein. Maybe it's because Saddam Hussein was selling his oil a little too cheaply. Or maybe because he nationalized Iraq and he kicked out the private bankers and the private industries. Maybe that's why he became a madman and a brutal dictator. Everybody that the United States invades, they're all brutal dictators. They're madmen. We have to go and help those people. We have to save them. We have to free them. We have to bring them freedom by dropping bombs all over their country and killing millions. Don't you get it? Don't you understand? You don't bring freedom to people by launching swarms of Tomahawk missiles into their cities and into their towns. You bring them misery and death. Watch the news one night. Spend hours watching the news and see how many times the same video clip plays. The same video clip is used for various different stories, in fact. Like you see running soldiers. This is what's happening in Iraq today. Then a few months later, you see the same video clip. This is what's happening in Afghanistan today. We're being played for a bunch of suckers. We don't know what's really going on outside the borders of our own country. The bankers who own and control our country and our Federal Reserve control what you see. They control what you think. They control what you believe. So ask yourself, am I brainwashed? Do you hate Ahmadinejad? Are you still jumping for joy over the assassination of Osama bin Laden, who had probably already been dead for like 9 or 10 years already? Are you brainwashed? Ask yourself that question.